If you have been struggling to stay on track with your finances, this video is for you, because in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I'm budgeting my money for the month of December. Let's get right into it. Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Nikki. If you are returning, welcome back. So the process all starts in the budget workbook. I like to write down everything on paper first. I am a paper and pen type of girl, but if you are a digital girl, this actually is a digital copy that you can actually do on your iPad. Or if you are a spreadsheet girl, then I have a spreadsheet as well. I'm not going to be opening up the spreadsheet because I like to start in the workbook first, and then I just transfer wherever you see in the workbook. I transfer that over to the spreadsheet, so that way as I start to spend money, the calculations are adding up correctly. I can see exactly how much money I have left in each of the categories. Or I can just open up my checking accounts and see how much I actually have in there. So first thing first, I start off with a monthly calendar. This is my monthly calendar that I've already filled out. And when I start on the monthly calendar, this is basically telling myself what all do I have going on this month. Are there any birthdays? Are there any holidays? Are you going out with friends? Do you have any plans? Like, this is where everything tells me what I have going on for the month. So before, I wasn't usually putting gas and food on the calendar, but this time around, because I'm tending to go back to overspending on food, I've decided to put it back on the calendar. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Hopefully that will kind of help me stay on track with my food budget, but we will see. So here on the monthly calendar, I got everything written down on how I plan on spending my money. And then at the end of the calendar, I have some goals that I want to set for myself. I always like to give myself at least 3 money goals for the month to try to achieve. If I cannot achieve all of them, I always try to achieve one. So my goal for this month are to track my expenses daily, which I'm pretty good at. I just come over to my spreadsheet and write every time I spend money down. I want to stay within my budget, so that's something that I really want to get myself disciplined with. If I say that I'm going to spend $300 on food, that's what I need to be doing. So I want to plan on staying within my budget, and then I want to save an extra $300 this month, because I do want to continue on putting money towards my emergency fund and stacking it up, because I'm just going into 2026 with just saving money. I don't really have any debt except for my student loans and my house, and my student loans are a part of the public service loan forgiveness, so I'm in that right now currently, and then I'm just not really focusing on paying off this house since I've only been here a year. So right now my plan 2026 is just to only save money. So whatever I possibly can, I'm just gonna be putting that into my savings until I can at least get like a year worth of expenses set aside in my savings, so that way I can be comfortable. I can breathe a little bit. It don't necessarily have to be a whole year of bills and expenses inside of there, but right now I've just gotten it back to whatever I have spent from that, and now I'm just trying to get that a little bit more. I'm aiming for 20,000 at the end of 2026. So that's my goal for 2026. But let's get into the monthly portion of the budget. I'm going to pop up on the screen my worksheet so you guys could, go through this with me. If you have the budget worksheet, now is the time to go ahead and pull yours out, because I'm going to be explaining this on how I actually fill this worksheet out and how you can do it too. So we both can get in control of our money come 2026, and we won't go into 2026 overspending, going over our budget on food and those types of things. So the very first thing I focus on is the income. I gotta know how much money do I have coming in. So first off, I just got a raise, because y'all know the post office, we get about 5 different raises per year. We get 2 cost of living adjustments, we get our contractual raise, and we get a step increase every 46 weeks. So I just got a cost of a living adjustment, which took my income from around like 67,000 to like 68,000. So from the only difference that I see on my check, I think my checks used to be like 21, 24, and I think I'm seeing like a $20, $40 increase per check. So y'all know my gist of it. All money is good money. I don't care if it was a $1 increase. I need to include it in my budget. So the very first thing that I do, I focus on my income, and I budget out my paychecks at the lowest amount that I've ever received. So the reason why I budget at the lowest amount that I've ever received, because on the worst case scenario, with this amount of money that I have coming in, I need to know, am I able to still take care of my bills and expenses that I have going on for the month on a worse day, on one of my bad days. You get what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I budgeted the lowest amount that I've ever received. So with the remaining in my checking account, although I know I have my $17.50 remaining in my checking account that I actually roll over to pay the next month's mortgage and utilities, I also had about like 900 and something. If I was to go back to my November budget, I had $947.22 rolling over, which actually brings me to like $2,600 or so. But like I said before, I budget at the lowest amount, so the worst case scenario when it comes to whatever is left in my checking account is $0, because I want to know that the money that I have coming in for the month, is it able to take care of the bills and expenses for the month as well if I had no money remaining in my checking account. So my paychecks, I'm budgeting at the lowest at $2,100. I am paid 2 times for the month of December, so that brings me to a total income for the month of December of $4,200. Although, like I said before, I still already have money in my checking accounts, which I have $26.97.22, but $17.50 of that money is already spent towards December's mortgage payment that I paid or sent to the checking account on the first of the month. And then now during the month of December, I have to set aside January's mortgage and utility of $17.50. So that's the reason why I do it that way. If you're not comfortable with doing it that way, you don't have to do it that way. You can actually just budget out your paychecks when you actually get paid. But I like to do a monthly overall view, and then when I actually get paid, I like to do a paycheck budget as well. So when it comes to my monthly budget, how I do my monthly budget is basically I like to budget by categories, because this is going to allow me to know how much money am I giving myself in each one of my categories. And this is where like I separate all of my accounts, and this is where I'm kind of like saying, okay, well, I know I got $300 for food, I got $240 for gas, those types of things, and I'm going to go ahead and break it down. I budget my categories, or I budget my category, not budget my categories, I list my categories from the most priority to the least priority, and that's typically how I spend my money. So when I say that savings is my first category, when I get paid, when money hit my account, money gonna go straight to savings first before money is even taking care of anything else. So the very first category that I focus on is my savings, and inside of my savings I focus on retirement, investing, and my Roth IRA. Each one of those have its own separate account. Retirement goes to a retirement account. I'm budgeting $230.30 for that. Because my income went up at my job, of course my retirement is gonna go up. Same thing with my investing. I'm budgeting $340.98. With my income going up, 5% of my new pay is actually put aside in my thrift savings plan, which is just like my investing or whatever. Then the next one is my Roth IRA. This is something that I have separate outside of the post office. This is through Fidelity. I'm doing currently $50 a pay period, so $100 this month since I am paid 2 times. That's what I'm putting inside of there. And when I can kind of like get comfortable with knowing how much money I actually have left every single month, then I will boost that up. But right now, currently, that's what I'm putting inside of there. So for my savings category, I'm budgeting $671.28, which I am totally fine about, because this is money that I do not necessarily see. This is money that is just, it goes to its account. It gets out of my paycheck. I don't even see this money taken out of my paycheck when it comes to what goes into my checking account. The only thing I really see is the Roth IRA that I have to manually transfer to the Fidelity account once I actually get paid. The next category is the next most important category, which is my home category. And inside of my home category is the mortgage and utilities, and this has its own checking account as well. So I budget $17.50 for that. So that take care of the mortgage payment, the light bill, the trash bill, the water bill, all of the bill, cable, internet, all of the bills for this house, because I want to make sure that the house stuff is taken care of before I start spending money all willy-nilly or whatever. So this is taken out on the first of the month, and it's transferred into a separate checking account to the mortgage and utilities, and that's all that I have coming out of there. Now the bills do not come out on the first of the month. I think the mortgage payment actually comes out on the 6th or the 7th of the month. Light bill comes out, I don't know, maybe like the 14th of the month. The trash comes out, I don't even know. The internet comes out, I don't even know what date those bills actually come out. All I know is that we put $17.50 inside of a checking account for the mortgage and utilities, and all of the bills actually comes out when they're actually due. Everything is set up on automatic draft out of that account with the bills. The next expense inside of the home category is my life insurance, short-term disability, phone, and aftercare fees for my son. And that is in my main checking account. So now we're in my main checking account. So far, those are 4 different accounts that I fund or whatever. And now we're in the bulk of my money. We're in the main checking account. And this is where like my main bills actually come out. So like I said, life insurance, that's the same amount every single month. That's $13. Short-term disability is the same thing. I pay that every time that I get paid, or that Monday after I get paid. So that's $164.88. My phone bill just went down, so that's $144.34 that the last 2 months I've been paying. And then aftercare fee for my son, I pay that every single Friday, $120, and then they charge me $1 to actually make the payment. So $484 since it is 4 Fridays in the month. The next category is food. Now, food has another checking account that is also tied to the transportation, which is the gas fee as well. So for food, I'm budgeting $300. And then for transportation, I'm budgeting $240. So those 2 items comes out of the same account as well. So I'm hoping that I won't go over the food budget this time around, but usually I'm not really over the gas budget, and money just continues on sitting in that account and rolling over and rolling over. That's why sometimes when you see me go over, I'm not really stressed out about it, because I know that sometimes I don't go over the food budget. Sometimes I don't go over the gas budget, and there may be $100 or $200 sitting in there, and it just pulls from whatever is left in that account. The next category is subscriptions, and subscription actually comes out of my main checking account too, up there with my life insurance, short-term disability, phone, aftercare, and that type of stuff, because of course it is just Google storage and my iPhone storage. So those 2 together, $11.98. I actually cut out a lot of subscriptions. I'm not going into 2026 with all of these subscriptions and being a part of everybody mentorship program, membership, and all that type of stuff. It's time to actually get out here and put the work, put the action in behind the word. So, I mean, that's what I plan on doing, is just basically taking action come 2026. No more trying to be a part of this group, that group, paying for all of these memberships and stuff like that. It's time to just actually lock in and just go all in with everything that you have learned in 2025. Now, I used to have on here debt payment. Now, I'm glad to announce that I just cancel Merit credit card out, because the only debt that I really have is student loans and my house. My student loans is up under the public service loan forgiveness. So right now I'm just riding it out till I get to the 120 payments. I'm currently at 87 payments and 67 payments on a few of the loans or whatever, but majority of the loans are at 87 payments. So I'm just riding that out and seeing if that actually get taken care of. My house, I was gonna try to put extra towards the principal, but I think I'm not gonna really focus on that. I'm just gonna really just focus on just building up cash in a high yield savings account, and that's what I'm gonna be focusing on, because I'm just getting older. Let's just be honest. I'm getting older. I'm in my 40s. And by the time that it's time for me to retire, I want to be at that point where I can retire and I don't have to just continue on working and working and working and working and working. I will still have my thrift savings plan. I will have money built up in my emergency fund. I will still have a pension coming in. So I want to be able to enjoy my life when it's time for me to transition on out, or if something was to happen with my job where I get laid off, or something was to happen where now I can't work anymore. I just want to get to that point, because I just feel like I'm getting older and it's just time to just start putting money aside for stuff like that. So I don't have any debt down here anymore. Not going to put it down there. I'm just, going to be believing in God that everything is going to clear on out with my student loans. And then, of course, by the time that clears out, hopefully I can start making extra payments on the house and getting that taken care of. So now instead of me having 7 budget categories now I have 6 budgeting categories. And if I do any other spending than what is on this worksheet, maybe I will have like a miscellaneous spending. Maybe I should have it like that, miscellaneous spending. But I'm using the pink color for like my fun spending, because pink is pretty. Pink is like lovely or whatever like that. So I'm coloring my spending / fun spending or sinking funds as the color pink, which it used to be debt as pink, but we're not focusing on the student loans or the house or whatever like that. So we're doing pink as spending and fun. And in those in that category, I have me, which is just whatever I want to do. I'm giving myself $200, so my plan is to give myself $100 a pay period. And then for my son, $50 there, just any little knickknacks that he want to get when I'm out and about, or he has to get a haircut or any little thing like that. Then I have miscellaneous / shopping, because let's just be real, things happen. Sometimes you just in the store and you want to pick up something, or sometimes you just want a frappe. Sometimes you just want a smoothie bowl. So I'm doing $170.52 there. And with that money that I actually have left over in my checking account, I think it was like $900 or whatever, I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of Christmas shopping from that money. So that's pretty much how I'm planning on budgeting my money for the month of December. Y'all let me know what you think about this. I've also been thinking about with the food and the gas, because I do have those expenses together out of a checking account. I was thinking about using those on a credit card, because I do have a Atlanta Postal, because this money comes out of the Atlanta Postal credit union checking account. I have a credit card that I'm not using that has a $300 limit on it, and maybe I can do it that way. So that way it's only $300 on there, even though this says $240. That way, every time that I spend money on it, I can pay that money right back, and then hopefully I won't go over the budget for the month, if that makes sense. So let me know what y'all think about that. Put in those two expenses on that $300 credit card, and then every time that the money actually clears, pay that balance down, and then use it again whenever. Of course, looking at the statement dates and looking at the due date and things like that, being mindful of that. But y'all let me know what you think about that, if that will work to try to keep me on track with the food budget, because that's really the category that I typically go over in. So let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.